All right, so it is 8 o'clock. Welcome, everybody. I hope you have a good day today here. It's your second day at Aldine Live. Today we are going to connect, and how we are going to connect in this one is we are going to be going through Schoology Conferences. Schoology Conferences is a pretty good platform for video to video and classroom instruction, as well as breakout rooms. Think of it as Schoology's Google Meet or Zoom. So I hope everybody's doing good out there. I hope everybody's doing well. I hope you and your family are doing well. And welcome back to a new school year. For those of y'all that is your first school year, welcome to Aldine. Welcome to teaching. Okay, so a couple of upkeep and just general notes I'd like to kind of get out of the way first is first, I would like to show you how to get to our back channel. And this is particularly important. So you can do this one of two ways. The first way you can do it is on this sheet right here, the Aldine Digital Delivery updated one, your spreadsheet that you probably all use to get here. So you probably clicked here on conferences to get to the live stream. Well, what you can do to get to the back channel is just click on the link right next to this. So you can see right here, we have yoteachapp.com, and it's going to ask you for a password, and that is just Aldine123, no capitals. Again, that is just Aldine123. I have this back here. There we are. So you can also go here to bit.ly, / conferences chat, and the password is Aldine123. And that is going to lead you to this back channel here where we can then, you can talk with our moderator, Justin. All right, so you can see here at the very top, Justin has the sign in posted, and we will be having a link to the presentation. I will be giving you that at the end. Okay, so it looks like most of y'all are getting to the back channel. I'm just going to go through and do that one more time for you here. So for those of y'all that may not know, you can get to the back channel, which is our way of chatting, by going to the sheet right here where digital delivery is, and then under the connect day of Tuesday 7/28, we can come here to our conferences session and then go to our back channel right here, and then that way we can join. I will be presenting for most of today, and Justin will be helping run the back channel moderator there. So if there are any issues, Justin will reach out to me and we will kind of backtrack if we need to. So just a couple of other upkeeping things on this sheet right here. I would like to point out that right here in this cell, Aldine Live template badge, if you click here, it will ask you to copy a document. Go ahead and hit copy on that document. And again, that's right here at the top left-hand corner of Aldine Live Digital Deliveries spreadsheet. Go ahead and make the copy. And this is going to be your certificate sheet, so to say. So at the end of the session today, Justin in the back channel chat here will give you a code. That code, you will then come on over here to this form right here. You're going to say, well, I took, let's see, where is it? Schoology Conferences. There it is. Next, and then you will put in the code here. And that's how you will get your badge for your Aldine Live Summer PD for Schoology Conferences. All right, so that's a little bit of back channel stuff. So let's kind of go ahead and move forward. You will be able to get a copy of this presentation at the end of the presentation. So just a couple things beforehand. I wanted to show you that there is this help page here by Schoology that is absolutely awesome. It has almost everything you would need. It has GIFs, it has step-by-step instructions, it has best practices, it has frequently asked questions. It is a pretty exhaustible resource. And then in case you like video format, I have found a video here that is pretty good as well. So just a couple of other resources for you after this. All right, so what can I do in Schoology? Virtual office hours, always a good thing to use Schoology Conferences for. Group collaborations within Schoology Conferences is great as well. You can use online classes, and you can also use breakout rooms to kind of separate your classes out a little bit. And then, so let's get into it. Let's get going. I'm not going to be going through this slideshow. I'm going to end up showing you on it in Schoology Conferences, but I just wanted to show you that a lot of these resources, and I have made screenshots of Schoology Conferences so that you can see where everything is within this. All right, so let's get started. So on the left-hand side, I am going to be doing teacher version. And then on the right-hand side, I'm going to be doing student version. So first things first, I have my blank sandbox course here. I have nothing in it yet, but that's okay because I want to get Schoology Conferences up and running. How do I do that? So first, if I don't see Schoology Conferences on the left-hand side here, if I don't see it, I need to install it. It's most likely installed, but just in case, let's go ahead and show you how to install it. You come up here to these 4 boxes, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you come down here to the App Center. So again, if you don't see Schoology Conferences installed on the left-hand column, come up to these 4 boxes, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then click on the App Center. So you'll scroll down until you find Conferences. Here we are. Go ahead and click on it. And we're in. So let's go ahead and install the app. You're going to hit I agree. And then you're going to click all the sections that you want for your courses. So if I wanted to install it on my Writing for Blended and Virtual Learning section, I would click that right there. If I wanted to install it for a group, I would click on any of these different groups. So I'm generally not going to do course admins only because that means that the students will not be able to use Schoology Conferences. It would just be the admins within the course. So general rule of thumb for me, course admin only is not something I'm going to want to click. And then once I'm done, I'm going to go ahead and hit install. And cool, there I can see my changes to conferences have been saved. Awesome. So now that I've got conferences installed, let's go back to my sandbox section here. So let's get into it, and let's actually go here on the left-hand side and click into conferences. And let's do this now for the student side as well. Let's zoom in a little bit. And it's the same thing for the student here on the right-hand side. I'm going to come down here to conferences as a student. And there are the conferences. Now, let's go back to the teacher side. We can see up here at the top, I have active and completed on both the student and the teacher side. So this both teacher and student can see pretty much the same thing. So if I click over here to
hey, Jacob, I'm getting requests for you to zoom in a little bit.
Zoom in, okay. How's that? That probably was a little bit better.
Yes, that helps.
That helps, okay. So we can see active and completed here. So I went ahead and clicked over to completed. And then just kind of going backwards a little bit, just in case y'all didn't see that because it wasn't zoomed in enough. Conferences was right here on the left-hand side. And then to install it, I had to go to the App Center. So sorry about that. I'll continue to be mindful about that. So under completed here in conferences, you can see that I have a recording here that I recorded yesterday, or 2 days ago it was not at midnight, but okay. And here I can see that this recording is available for 7 days. So please be mindful of that. If I'm done with the recording, I can go ahead and come here to this cogwheel and I can just delete it. But if I want to download it, I actually have to go in and hit play first. So if I want to download my recording, I actually have to hit go in and hit play. And now this is really kind of strange. You can't download it over here. This just lets you see the slides. Obviously the play button, and then this is full screen. You actually have to hit full screen to download this. And then you have to come over here to these 3 dots and hit download. And that is the only way you can download it. Is really kind of strange, honestly, but that is the way that they have done it. And then these 2 arrows right here just switch the webcam and the screen. So that is how you can review playbacks as well as download them. Now, just a quick little word of warning. Zoom in here. Students on the right-hand side here can do the exact same thing. They can come in, they can play, they can full screen, and yes, they can still download that. So if there is any student privacy issues, you might want to be mindful of that. All right, so let's go back to the teacher side now. All right, so let's go to active now. I'm ready to create my own conference. So I'm just going to come over here and I'm going to hit create new conference. You can title it whatever you want. I'm just going to do test. Let's go ahead and put a start date of, let's see, we are the 28th today, and let's say it starts at 8:15. And I can add an end time if I want to. So let's put, let's see, that would be roughly 9:15. And let's go ahead and create that. Now these start and end times might be useful for your students to help them understand when they're supposed to start and stop. And that way is, well, at least maybe at the higher levels, that they can be a little bit more self-directed about that. So once I have created that conference, let's go to conferences on the student side here. I can now see it on the student side. So I can see when it is going to start, I can see when it is going to end, and I can see that it has not quite started yet. All right, so let's go ahead and start this from the teacher side on the left-hand side here. And so I'm just going to come over here and I'm going to hit start conference. And just a word, if you messed up spelling or something like that, you can always come in here and edit it. Or if you had accidentally created a duplicate, you can also delete it here as well. All right, so let's get in there. All right, so I'm going to join as listen only here because it's going to create a lot of feedback in my headphones and it's going to get really distracting. Most everybody else is going to be joining via microphone though. And why is that filtered? There we go. All right, so here's the basic, zoom in a little bit here. Here's the basic setup for the Big Blue Button web app, which is what we call Schoology Conferences. So let's just kind of go through some of the stuff we see immediately on this main screen. Test right here, that is the name of the conference. And then I can start recording up here at the middle here. And so if I want to start recording, just go ahead and hit yes. And so now it's going to be recorded, and I can always pause the recording if I need to. Yes, let's pause the recording. and I can always resume it and stop it and start it as I need to. So that's a useful tool. And then here in the middle, we have our screen that is going to be public and visible for everybody. Let's zoom out of that a little bit. So all of my students will be able to see this as well. And then over here, I have some tools. So I can pan, so I can just kind of move it around. So if I'm zoomed in here really far, I can kind of move it around. So if I want to just focus here on polling, I can do that. And then within these tools on the right-hand side, I also have a pencil. So I can underline or box, or I can draw a little stick man. Please do not make fun of my drawing. He's very happy to be here today. We can have basic shape tools, rectangles, triangles, ellipses. We can do basic lines that help for our straight lines. And then we can also add in text. And those are some of the basic tools. We can also undo. So if we accidentally make a mistake, we can do that. However, there is no redo button. So you can't undo what you undid, so to say. And then once you're like, okay, I'm tired of the stick man, he's kind of looking at me funny here. I'm going to go ahead and clear all my annotations. And that's going to remove all annotations from the entire big blue button screen here. Then another pretty cool feature here is the multi-user whiteboard. And so this allows students, let me go over here to my student side. So how a student gets into it is they just click on the title. So let me go over here on my student side. And again, I'm going to join as listen only. It's going to create a bunch of feedback. So what the cool thing about this multi-user whiteboard is it allows students to mark it up. Now, normally they can't do that. So if I'm going to come over here, I'm going to turn off multi-user whiteboard again. And notice I can't mark it up on the student side anymore. Turning it back on, and now I can mark up on the student side again. And you can also see how it's going to show the name of the student as they're marking it up. And then they can also clear their own annotations, which will not mess with your annotations unless they mark over it. So that's a pretty cool little feature as well. And then to take it away, you just select multi-user whiteboard again. And that's a way you can take that away from them. Okay, so let's go to the left-hand side over here now. So I'm going to be focusing on this column over here. This is the public chat. This is where you can chat publicly, and this is where everybody, here we go, so can send messages. So here you can see my student and my teacher talking back and forth. And then we have shared notes here. So if I want to give off a set of class notes to my students, I can put notes in here as I want to. And as the student, as I click into this, I can see here that I have now notes that I can put in here and I can take away. However, notice I can't really type in it right now because you can see here it's locked by the moderator. So this is a good little segue into our Manage Users window, which allows us to take and give rights to students. So let's go ahead and click on this. We're going to come down here to lock viewers. So this is going to lock viewers out of certain rights. And those rights are sharing a webcam. So if I do not want my students to share their webcam, I would click that here. If I do not want my students to share a microphone, I would click that here. Public chat messages, private chat messages. This is the only one that I would suggest not having on. This is the only one I would suggest having locked. Simply because you don't want students to be able to send messages that you can't monitor back and forth to each other. You can still, as a teacher, you can still send private chat messages to students. They just can't send it to each other there. Editing shared notes. This would be a personal preference if you want students to edit them or not. And then if you want them to be able to see the other users in the user list. And so what that means in the user list is they would just see you and the teacher, or themselves and the teacher. They wouldn't see everybody else in there. Okay, so notice how, sorry, let me go back here to lock viewers real quick. I unlocked shared notes here. So now my student on the right-hand side here, let's make this a little bit bigger. Student can come in here and can add all their wonderful notes that they want to. So a well-organized class might be able to have a collective note-taking rather than everybody taking their own, and that might be different ways to accomplish that. Let's go back over here to the teacher side. There's a couple things here within this users menu that I skipped over before I went to lock viewers. So you can clear status icons, and all those status icons is when you click on yourself, you can raise your hand, you can put an undecided or a confused face or a sad face, and the student can do the same thing over here. So I can say as a student, I want to raise my hand. I have a question about this. So now you can see over here, why is this doing that? Over here, I have a hand icon in the middle of my little circle, indicating that I have a question. So as a teacher, I can now address that question, be like, hey, what's going on, mock student? What's going on? How can I help you? And then once I've done that, I can clear all status icons. And you can see that hand icon has gone away after I've done that. You can also mute all users. So if it's being a little disorderly or something like that, or you're trying to get everybody quiet, that might be an easy way to do that. Or if you have another student presenting a project or talking, you may want to mute all users except the presenter. That way, everybody else is muted except for that one person that's presenting. No, Justin. So within this users menu, there is save usernames as well. So this might be a way to take attendance. And then here you can create breakout rooms. This is a really cool feature that you can do. So like you can set the number of rooms. I'm sorry, I probably went through that too quickly. How do I create breakout rooms? On the left-hand side here, users, and then the menu, and then come down here to create breakout room. So I'm going to set 2 rooms. I'm going to give them a duration of 2 minutes. I'm going to put mock student over here in room 1, and I'm going to go ahead and hit create. And let's go over here to the student side. So now it's going to ask them, do you want to join the breakout room? So I'm going to go ahead and hit join. I'm going to come in here as listen only, because again, that's going to create a feedback in my headphones. But you'll notice now I'm now a part of 2. And so I've joined this room. Now as a teacher, what does that look like on my end? So you'll notice on the left-hand side here, I now have a breakout room bar. And if I click into that, I can see which rooms, which students are in, and I can float between the 2 rooms. And then once I decide, hey, we're done here, we don't need any more breakout rooms, y'all have accomplished the goal, good job, guys, good job, gals, let's go. I can just hit here and end all breakout rooms. And you can see over here on the student side that automatically closed them out of the other one and put them back into the main room. So that's a pretty cool little feature. And then here you can just turn on right closed captioning. All right, so what happens if you click on yourself? You can only set your status. But if you click on a student, you can start a private chat between that student. So this would only be between the student and the staff member. And then, so let's come over here to the student side and let's check out what that's like. So here you can see under messages, we now have a pop-up with my name on there, and that is the private chat with the teacher. Okay. If I click on a student, I can make them a presenter. So this is how that they will be able to present a PowerPoint, present something to the class, or anything like that. I would not ever promote a student to a moderator. This would be good for only like co-teachers or any other adults in the room that are staff members. So to make them a presenter, you can just click on that, or to make them a moderator, you can click on that. I would be very hesitant, not hesitant, I would just kind of set ground rules with my students and as far as presenting goes, because when they present, so I've just given that student presenting rights, they can come over here and they can write on it and they can do pretty much anything they want. They can share their webcam and they can also share their screen, which I'll get into here in a little bit, but that's where things kind of get dangerous, I guess you could say, because let's say they minimize and there's something bad on their background or something like that. So just kind of be careful and warn the students, be like, hey, you're going to be showing your screen to everyone here. So just kind of build up those expectations. All right, so this student has the presenter. Let's say they do something naughty and I need to take away those rights again. I can just click on myself and then click take presenter. So now the student can't mark up the screen and I can fix whatever errors may or may not have happened. And you can also remove a user if you need to. So I'm going to go ahead and remove myself here. Oh, this is new. Awesome. They just added this in the last 48 or 72 hours, actually. Um, remove user, and then you can actually prevent this user from rejoining the session now. That is a new feature as far as like a week, as far as I know. So that is awesome. And just in case they're being totally disobedient or whatever. Because if you don't, what it used to be is when you kicked them out, they just came right back here and they were able to pop right back in. So that is a new feature that Big Blue Button just added. That is very cool. All right, learning together here, guys, girls, ladies. And let's see. You can navigate slides here. So this Big Blue Button is always going to be the default. You don't have to use this, but it is nice for like a blank whiteboard spot. But if you want to upload your own PowerPoints, and they do suggest being them PDFs or Word documents or anything like that, but I found in my practices with this, PDFs always worked best. So if you click on this big blue plus sign here at the bottom, it's actions. Here you can do three things. I'm going to start with the middle one though, and upload a presentation. So let's go ahead and upload a PDF here. So we see a couple buttons here next to the parents how to sign up for Schoology PDF. The first one is allows the presentation to be downloaded. So if I want the students to be able to download this PDF, I can just click that and you can see it's green now. So the students can download it. This little circle just means which one is live. So if I wanted to be showing this one, I would just click the circle and with the check mark, and that means that's the one that's going to be shown. And then I can always just remove this one as well. So let's go ahead and upload. This may take a couple seconds. There we go. So now we have my PDF that I just uploaded. We can go to the different slides. Here we can see we only have 2 slides. And I can mark it up just like I would anything else. So I can say, hey, go here, click there, go there. and I can mark it up as I need to. If I wanted to change presentations, I would just do the exact same thing. I would go to Upload Presentation at the blue plus sign at the bottom left. Then I would come over here to these circles, and I would click the circle. Click Confirm, and now we're back to the whiteboard and the standard big blue button one. That's pretty cool. It also does change it for students. I can come over here to this blue plus sign, and I can start a poll. Let's just do a yes, no. And I'll probably say something like, have you been maintaining social distancing during COVID-19? So let's go over here to the student side, and you can see that it pops up here. So I'm going to go ahead and say yes, that I have. Let's go back to the teacher side. And now you can see that I can have one response, and I can see that my mock student responded as yes. So once I think all of my students are done, I can go ahead and hit publish polling results. And now let's go back to the student side. And now you can see down here at the bottom right, the polling results are published, so the students can see what the polling results were. Pretty cool little feature there. Excuse me. You can do true, false, A, B, ABC, A, B, C, D, A, B, C, D, E, or you can do a custom poll. Now notice all of these are the answers. So your question will either be on a slide in your presentation, or you will just give it audibly, like I kind of just did there, audibly, like I just did there. So that's really kind of just depends on how you are doing things for your poll. Okay, so let's close out a polling, and let's check out the last share an external video. Now you just copy and paste the URL into here and it's good to go. However, it is limited in what external videos it can accept. It is only limited to YouTube, Vimeo, Instructure Media, Twitch, and Dailymotion. So Google Drive URLs, for example, are not supported here. It has to be on one of those 5 platforms. So just keep that in mind when you're sharing an external video that way. And the bottom here, neglected this earlier, sorry y'all. All right, let's get those about the same. There we go. All right, so at the bottom here, you see we have a couple sets of icons. So first, let's go from left to right. So the first one is my audio. So I just left the audio there. And I can join the audio with my microphone. I'm going to go ahead and allow this. This is going to give some feedback, so pardon me if I'm a little quiet for a second. All right, there we are. And so there we go. I'm muted, so I'm not going to be getting a bunch of feedback. And I can actually leave the audio as well if I want to. So if I don't want to hear it, that's what I can do. I can turn on my webcam. It may ask you to allow. Go ahead and hit allow. No, I don't want to use Snap Camera. And go ahead and there. And it should be appearing up here at the top. Here we are. And then on the student side, give it a couple minutes. There we are. And there we go. So now we see 2 of me. Hello, you can see my junk back there. Yay. And students can also share their webcam as well. So I'm going to go ahead and turn on the student webcam here at the bottom middle. All right, so there we can see my student one up is there. Cool. Now, I'm going to go ahead and shut those off so I don't lag down the stream. A couple words to the wise on webcams. Teacher to student, every single student can see the teacher's webcam. However, student to teacher, you can see all the students' webcams, but they can't see webcams student to student. So pretty much the students can see you, you can see the students, but the students can't see each other except for in the breakout rooms. So in the main room, the students can only see themselves and the teacher. In the breakout rooms, they can see each other. So I just wanted to let y'all know. So if you wanted to have them getting to know each other and that kind of thing, it's most likely going to have to be in the breakout rooms. So just a little word to the wise. And then the last one on the left, or on the bottom middle on the far right, is share your screen. So I'm going to go ahead and share this screen up here so I don't get an infinity mirror effect. And here you can see what I am doing on my screen is shown. To stop sharing that, you can do one of two things. You can hit the stop sharing here, but I always end up hitting hide on this because I think it's annoying. And then you can, if you do that, you can just click stop sharing your screen down here at the bottom right. And there we go. So again, if you wanted to have a student share a screen, what you need to do is you need to click on the student's name on the left-hand side under users, and then you need to make them a presenter. So now you'll notice this student now has the ability to share their screen, and the teacher does not have the ability to share their screen. So now the student can share their screen, and I'm going to do the same thing up here so I don't get the infinity mirror. And now everything that the student is doing on that screen is going to be noticeable. So just kind of, again, prep the student, let them know like, hey, make sure you don't show anything that's inappropriate or anything like that, and go through best practices on how to avoid that. Okay, that's that. Oh, another thing that sometimes happens is you'll hit hide presentation here and it goes away. However, it does not go away for the students, but it kind of hides itself in the bottom right-hand corner here. So if you end up hiding the presentation, you're not sure where it went, that's okay. It's right down here at the bottom right-hand corner for restore presentation. Okay, went through that, went through that, went through that, went through that, went through this. There's a couple settings in here at the three dots at the top right-hand side that you may be interested in. So I wanted to go ahead and go through these. You can do data saving techniques, so you can just completely disable all webcams here, no matter what. That includes yours. You can completely disable all desktop sharing. Again, that includes yours. I don't really suggest doing it here, though. I suggest doing it in the users menu like I had shown you. And then application. I get tired of these audio alerts and pop-up alerts, so I turn them off. This is going to be a user preference for you there. And then there are animations that you can enable. And that's just like GIFs and stuff like that. Oh, I forgot to show you how to download the chat as a transcript. So if I need to download the chat as a transcript, what I can do is come up here to these three dots, and then I can hit save or copy. And so if I hit save, it's going to ask me to do it. It's going to be a text document. And here you can see who said what and then at what time. So that's a pretty easy way to get transcripts. And then if you want to do the same thing for shared notes, so like let's say you want your students to be able to download this. Let's do the student side of this actually. If you want the students to be able to download this, what they need to do is come over here to these two arrows that are kind of horizontal to each other and going against the grain. Is go here, click, and that'll be an export. I would probably do a PDF or a Word, but if none of those are working, do plain text, and that should always work. But I would start with PDF. Did that. All right, so you are at the end of the presentation for your students. What do you need to do? You just click the X? No, don't just click the X button, guys and girls and ladies and men and all y'all out there. Like, just please, I cannot stress this enough. Do not just click the X. That is going to keep the meeting going so students can be in there. Actually end the meeting. That way students aren't still in there, because like what happens, let me show you this. I'm just going to click the X, and all of a sudden I've left a student there unmonitored. Now I can always just come back here and end the conference. So just in case you do that, you don't always have to go back into it. Okay, so I had a recording in there. How do I access the recording? We went through this a little bit at the beginning, but just in case it wasn't zoomed in enough or anything like that, I'm going to go through it just one more time for y'all. So come on over here to completed, and here you can see my one today at 8:15. And now notice there's no recording sound for this conference yet. It takes a little bit for Schoology's servers to catch up with the recording. So this will probably be available in less than a day, but probably by the hour, the recording will be available for play and for download. Okay, Justin, do you want to show them, or do you want me to show them how to add in a reminder?
I actually haven't got my sandbox set up for this year. Do you want to show it on your end? Remember how?
Yeah, I may need you to correct me a little bit, but let me know if I do something wrong, and I'll see if I can remember.
Okay. While we're doing this, I just want to point out to remind everybody that the students can also download the presentation. So I always recommend after you're downloading, just deleting that so the kids don't have access for whatever reason. If you don't want them to have access. So
good reminder. Thank you, Justin. Ooh, that gave me a little bit of a water break too. Thank you. All right. So how do I set up an easy way to get my students into the conferences? Because maybe for some high school students, clicking on conferences and then clicking on the title might be okay. For some of the elementary people, that may just be a little too many clicks, honestly. So what am I going to do? How am I going to do that? So first, let's go here to conferences. And then up here at the...
So we're seeing you right now, at least I am. Are you sharing your screen?
Thank you.
Okay.
All right, let's try that again. Sorry about that, y'all. All right, so I'm here at my sandbox course. How do I make an easy, accessible link for my students? So I'm going to come over here to conferences. And I'm right up here at the top in the URL. See where all that's flashing up there? I wish I could make that bigger. I can't. But right up here at the URL where you would type in www.aldine.schoology.com, I want you to copy all of that. So I'm just going to right click and copy here that entire URL. And then I'm going to come back here to my materials. And I'm going to add an assignment. Conferences. And I'm going to click here to join. And I'm going to highlight all of this. And I'm going to insert a link. Now I don't have the link up here, so I might have to expand it. So you see this little arrow right here. I'm going to click that to expand it. So you see how many more tools I have now? So I have the basic tools here, but I need more than just the basic tools, or I can come here and I can hit link. Personally, I prefer the expanded one. And I'm going to hit link. From there, I'm going to paste that exact same link that I had, and I'm going to hit insert. I'm going to put a due date. So I wanted this to be on 7/28. Let's see, it was 8/15. a.m. because I don't need y'all here that late. I'm sorry. I'm going to put this as ungraded because it's not going to be graded, and I don't want submissions. I do want this published to students, and I'm going to disable comments. So this is literally just like going to be a reminder for the students. Hey, at 7/28/2020 at 8:15 a.m., we're going to have a conference here. So now I'm going to hit hide, create. And so now here we have conferences. So let's go check it out and see what this looks like on our student side of things. I put it in the past. I should have put that in the future. I'm sorry, I was trying to get this to where it would show y'all what would happen on the student side, but I put it in the past. So I'm going to change it to 9:15, so it's going to be in the future. And let's go back to the student side of things here and refresh. And so you'll notice I now here on the right-hand side have on my upcoming column at 9:15 a.m. a conference. So I can just click here as a student, be like, oh, hey, that's coming up soon. Click there, and then click here to join. And boom, I'm right here at the conferences page to where all they would have to do is click on the title. And that might be some less steps for your students to go through that might help them out as with a reminder of what they need to do when they need to do it.
And Jacob, one of the questions we got earlier was, how do we individually assign a conference to a student, or how do we notify just a certain student of a conference?
So that's a little, I mean, you can do this. And so here with this assignment here, I can individually assign them. Let's see, where is it? Individually assign to my mock student and save that. However, that's just going to be this assignment that's only going to be seen by the student. That's, however, everybody else, if they're, let's say, adventurous or something like that, they can still click into conferences, and everybody else within that course will still be able to see it on this page. But one of the benefits is of individually assigning, backwards, come on. Individually assigning it is that way they won't get this notification bar though. So can you individually assign a conference that only one student can only get into? Not really. Other students will still be able to see it in the conferences page, but they won't get that same notification that that one student would. Any other major questions you would like me to go over, Justin?
There was one question I wasn't sure the answer of. They're asking, are students able to present when they're in the breakout groups? Is anyone able to present from being in a breakout group? Because I know you have to give student presenter permissions. So
that is a great question. Let's find out the answer. Okay, so let's go ahead and start our breakout room. Mock student there, create, join. Yes, they are able to present. So you can see on my student side here, I have share the screen option. So to directly answer the question, yes, they can. Great question.
All right. Since we have just a little bit of time left, can you real quick show them how to create a sample